Hello. Before we start this episode, I wanted to make a few points here. So, first of all, this was recorded during week one, I believe, or before week one of the Bundesliga and Serie A going live. Right now, we are, as I'm recording this, at the international break. So, just wanted some clarification. These predictions were from a bit earlier. They weren't altered or changed or anything like that. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. But yeah, we're kind of putting these out a little late as availability and time constraints makes it a little difficult sometimes to upload it and have them up right away. But we are trying our best to accommodate with each other's schedules. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that before we start the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Footy Casuals. Today we have the last of the tables for the Big Five, the Serie A, and the Bundesliga. So as fun as these tables are, and I'm very anxious to see how we do at the end of the season, whether very bad or very good. But here we are. Yeah. But hello, Brian. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm ready to get the last two tables out that we can start talking a little bit more about the stuff going on, but the tables are always exciting with themselves.
Yeah, very true. Because right now we've been doing these tables. It's like you want to talk about because we like our scheduling is very iffy. We either can record a day or we can't, and then we have stuff going on and we can't talk about it because we got the tables. And then we finally get a chance to record, and then it's just like it already passed by, and you're just like, man. But yeah, but it is what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, we could always go back and talk about it. But yeah, so we are going to go over the Serie A first. I was gonna say the two Farmers Leagues, but I guess the Serie isn't really a Farmers League. Well, it used to be when Juve was on
Yeah.
top, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you want to take it away, Brian, and start us off with the Serie A?
Yes, I will definitely take it away.
All right.
So, all right, you got everything ready? Are we gonna do it on are we gonna put them in the table?
Yeah,
Or
the tier list.
yeah.
Yeah, I got it ready right here, ready to go.
All right then. So for 20th, I got and help me by with
It's
the names, by the way,
Frosinone.
because yeah,
It's
Frosinone.
Frosinone.
I know. There's a couple I'm gonna mispronounce because
Okay.
like when I was looking at them, I was just like, yeah. So Frosinone, I got 20th just because they just came up, and I was like looking at their investments, and they kind of have some poor investments, nothing really too crazy. And I mean, that's just like the one team I think that's gonna go up to go straight back down. 19th, I got Verona because I was looking at like their I was kind of like looking at how they were doing before, and I guess they have like a really bad coach, and their front office is like terrible, and they got a bunch of like problems going about. So I was just like, I was like, well, they're just gonna go straight back, or they're not gonna go straight back down, but they're gonna go down.
Yeah.
And then with 18th, I got Lecce, I think is how you pronounce
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so with Lecce, I got them going down because they lost their manager, the Baroni, and then they lost like their main defender, Umtiti. Lost, I think, another one of their main players. I don't know if it was a striker, midfielder. I forgot to check who. But then they also got a coach who hasn't been in the Serie A, which I think is a problem because, like, I mean, you can always be as good of a manager as you are, like in a different league, but like coming to a new league, it's always different, and you never really know how to react. So that's why I just thought they would go down. Then 17th, I got Empoli. I These next two teams, I can easily see them being down as well, which is like always literally with every single table. There's always like five teams that you can see going down. They got a lot of new players, but they do need to gel, which is always a problem. And I went towards the fact that they weren't really gonna gel well. So then 16th, I got Genoa. Is that how
Genoa.
you say it?
Genoa.
Yeah, Genoa. Then these next teams, I'm just gonna like say them off because like I didn't really see that they did too much, and like I feel like they're all mid-table teams. So then 15th, I got Salernitana.
Salernitana, yeah.
Yeah, Salernitana. Then 14th, I got yeah, I'm telling you,
No,
dude.
you're
Like
fine.
these
That one's
names.
weird.
Yeah, then Cagliari. I think
Cagliari,
I
yeah.
hadn't. Yeah, I actually had them as my dark horse because I swear, like, if I'm not mistaken, they just came up.
They did.
But like, yeah, I wanted to put somebody like really, really high just like for the memes, and like you never know at the end, maybe they are like somewhere up. So yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to put them. I didn't want them to just like scrape it. I wanted them to go a little better. And I seen that they're, I think they, if I'm not mistaken, I swear they squeaked by in like the playoffs to get in. And like I guess they're just like had a lot of hype coming into Serie, like how they came up. So yeah, that's why I had them as my dark horse. 13th, I got Udinese.
Actually, wait,
I think
Brian. Actually, I think they barely survived the drop. Actually, yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I was wrong about that. They wait, Cagliari. I don't even see Cagliari on here. Go ahead, Brian. I'll tell you right
I
now.
swear they came up, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it too, but I don't see it on here. Oh yeah, they did. Ignore me. Frosinone, Genoa, and Cagliari went up through the
yeah,
playoffs. The playoffs. There we go.
yeah, yeah. But I was looking, and they had a lot of hype coming up through the playoffs because, like, I guess they ended up barely coming up with like a 90th or 93rd minute goal or something,
Mm-hmm.
which is like kind of crazy. Yeah, so then I just thought they would like bring that hype into the Serie A and like go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Then 13th, I said I got Udinese. 12th, I got Sassuolo.
Sassuolo.
Sassuolo. Yeah, Sassuolo. Or 11th, I got Bologna or
I
Bologna.
think it's Bologna.
Yeah, Bologna. 10th, I got Torino.
Torino.
Yeah. See, now I'm just like doubting myself on these
No, no,
names
no, no,
because
no,
like,
no, no, you're good.
yeah. Ninth is I got Monza. 8th, I got Fiorentina. And then 7th is the what cup is that for 7th? Because I
Well,
know,
so I'm still not sure how they're gonna do it next season because when we were doing some of these tables, so
yeah,
some of these tables have it like the previous formats, like the way people set this up. But when you go to FootMob, every single league from the top five has only one Europa League and
yeah,
one Conference League. We're gonna go over it in a feature episode. We want to kind of go over the new formats for the UCL. For like the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, but I guess as of now, there's only one spot for each for Europa and Conference. So 7th is just like scraped, just like missing out on it as of now.
cause see, I figured, and I remember you telling me about it, but like I still hadn't really like got aware with the format. So like I was just looking at it right now, and then I was just like, I saw
Yeah,
like the
it
Europa League,
shows
and I was like,
one and one. Yeah, for everybody's.
I
Yeah,
was like, all right then. Yeah, so 8th I got Florentina. 7th, which might be a surprise to be honest, but like I don't know. I got Lazio. I think they overproduced last year, and I just don't think they're gonna like do that good this year. I mean, they did lose like their big marquee player, Milinkovic Savic, to Saudi, of course, to Saudi.
yeah,
But like, they didn't really. I was looking at their signings; they didn't really get anybody that crazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put them 7th. And I think some of these other
yeah.
teams did a lot better. So then 6th, which I think is Conference League, but if not,
It is.
scraping
Yeah,
Europa League. Yeah. Then I got Atlanta.
Atalanta.
5th, yes, Atlanta. Atlanta.
There you go.
5th, this should be Europa League, and I did this for a reason. I think Roma will make it to the Europa League
Yeah,
only because I think they got shafted in this last Europa League. I think they should have been the champs and gone to the freaking Champions League and solidified their spot in the Champions League. So I think they're gonna come back with a vengeance, and I think they're gonna go back into the Europa League and win the Europa League.
yeah.
And they also got a couple players like they got Ndika, they got Awar, they got Renata, who's not actually as cracked as he is in FIFA. They
Yes.
got Paredes, but they did lose a lot of players. Like they also lost the what's it called? Dang, who was
But
that? There was
Brian,
one
they
big player they
signed a
lost.
Real Madrid prospect on loan.
Who's that? Some
Julian.
nobody?
Oh, every Madrid
I'm just
prospect
kidding.
turns out to be a somebody.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Nah, but yeah, they had one big player they lost. I just can't remember who, and I guess I didn't
Roma?
write it down. So yeah,
They lost Matic. They lost Ibanez to Saudi.
yeah, there you go.
And those are like the big ones.
Yeah, so then that moves me to my top four.
Oh, and just to
My
clarify, everybody wasn't really playing.
Yeah, so then my fourth could be a shocker, could not be a shocker, because I mean it depends where you have them. I'm just gonna go AC Milan because I think they got rid of a lot of players, but they also brought in a lot. But this time they went the young route, like they got Chukwueze, they got Pulisic, they got Loftus-Cheek,
They got,
they got Musa.
yeah.
Yeah, and they, I mean, they obviously still have like their other players like Lau and so on and so on. So, I mean, what's it called? There's like, you can see it from two ways. Like you can see it, they're either gonna be really good, or really bad. Not bad, but like obviously like underperforming for the top four. So I got at the top four. I don't think they'll like. I think they'll match, but I think they're too young, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did lose Tonali. They did lose the Kedalier guy.
The Catalier? Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, there you go. So they lost those guys. I think Tonali was actually really big for them.
Well, I
So
mean, they didn't lose Tonali. They kind of forced
yeah,
Tonali out the
they
door.
forced him
So
out.
if they do
But
horrible this
yeah,
year, that they only have themselves to blame. So
yeah, and I feel like he was a really big part of AC Milan. So we'll see how
yeah,
that goes for them. So then third, this one was like really, really tough. And like you're starting to see that there's one team that's like rising up the ranks right now. And it could be a surprise, could not be a surprise. But third, I got Napoli. I got Napoli because they got a new manager, and every time you get a new manager, you kind of like you don't change a system, but you do your own system. And I don't think it'll be as easy for them to just like bounce back and like go all crazy this year. But like I don't know, I just feel like it's gonna take a little bit of time. I'm not saying they're gonna like shit the bed and go to 20th, but like obviously I don't think they'll perform as high as they did last year. And
you know
then
who their
I
coach
mean,
is, right?
huh?
You know who their
I
coach is,
don't,
right?
not gonna lie.
He was the previous coach for Al Nassr.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, no,
Yeah, but they did get Simeone and Raspadori. Those were some of the signings that I
permanent.
did
Yeah,
see that they
yeah,
got.
yeah. It was on permanent because they were on loan last season.
Yeah, but so then that moves me up to my top two. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This might surprise you. I'm gonna say who I got first, just cause, and then I'll go to who I got second. So who I got first was Juventus, and this might be a shocker, but I'm gonna tell you why. They got, or this is the first. Well, last year they what's it called? They obviously got dropped down the deduction points because of the stuff they had going on.
If not, they
But
honestly
this,
would have competed with Napoli for the title, which is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that's why I'm saying because like they were climbing last year. But so since that happened, this is gonna be the first year where they have nothing to worry about, only besides the Serie. Like they, well, major cups.
And
They, I,
and the
there,
yeah, major because they got
yeah,
the
yeah,
League Cup. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, there was the League Cup, but major cups. This is the only thing like they gotta worry about because they're not in the freaking Europa. They're not in the Champions. So like I already thought they were doing crazy last year, even after like the drop off that they got. So like I think they're just gonna go on a like, hey, like we're just gonna take over because last year we got shafted, so this year like it's just all gonna change. I mean, literally a revenge tour, you can call it.
Yeah.
They did get Moise Keane, they got Locatelli, they got Weah. However, they did lose a lot of players. Like they lost Kulusevski, they lost Cuadrado, Di Maria, Zachariah. But I don't know. I'm just going based off the tear they're gonna go off this year, based off of a revenge tour. That's like where my head was thinking, and it's very possible because like all these upper teams are gonna be either in the Champions or Europa, so like they literally just got the freaking Serie A to worry about besides the Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
So then, which the reason I put Inter at second was just like I don't know, like I feel like they lost so much and like they have so much going on. Like they have the Lukaku saga going on. I mean, I'm sure he's not staying,
No, no, he's
but
not.
like
He's not
yeah,
staying.
yeah, like they had that dealing with. They lost Skriniar, Dzeko, Nana to freaking Man U. They lost Brozovic, Gozens. They did get Summer. They did get like
They
like
got
not small. Like
Quadrado
yeah, I was about to say that. I was gonna say they got the
and the
Chelsea goat
Serie,
Quadrado.
Thuram.
Yeah, they still have the well. Although they're gonna lose Lukaku, they still have Lautaro. But like, I'm not the biggest fan of Lautaro. I'm not
I've
gonna lie.
never been a
So
fan of Lautaro. I don't know why. He just seems like that guy that's just there. I don't know. He just doesn't
Yeah,
strike me as a perennial
literally,
striker. He's just like that guy who's just there. I don't even know.
literally. And so I was going based off the fact that like I feel like they're gonna need another like striker presence, and like not that Lukaku is some goat, but I just don't think Lautaro's it, man. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing a tweet or something saying how like Lautaro was disappointed in him, like they don't need him, that they got him, and I was just like, bro, you're not him though. I was like, what do you
Yeah.
mean
On
I was
not
like, what do you mean
wrong.
they got you? And like, guy scores, he's somebody huge.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
that's why I kind of went Inter second, but like some of these are just based off like where I think Juventus is gonna end. But like I don't know, I can easily be Inter up top, but we'll see. I'm just
Yeah.
going off of the Juventus revenge tour, which I think is
All
very
right. Yeah.
possible, to
No.
be
Yeah.
honest.
You're not wrong, honestly. Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, if you want to go ahead and give us yours.
Yeah. I like your picks. I'm not too shocked by your picks at all. So yeah, it's not
Nice,
bad.
nice.
Not bad. I think we have two of the same to go down. I almost did
Oh,
put
really?
Hellas Verona to go down too because they've been on the bubble for like the last couple seasons, but I didn't put
You
them
almost,
to go down.
you almost put who you said?
Hellas Verona to go
Oh,
down because they've been on the edge like
yeah,
for the last couple seasons.
yeah,
But I didn't do it this time. All right, okay, so here we go. So for 20th, I went with Frosinone. So they've gone up and down. They haven't been up in a while, but they've been up and down a couple times. The last 10 years. Don't expect them to stay up. And then in front of them, I have Cagliari. Actually, I know you had them kind of like to go up a little higher.
yeah,
You know, but I just don't think that they'll stay up. I don't know. They used to be regulars in this division, but I just don't feel confident that they'll stay. That they'll stay up. I feel like they'll go back down. They've been kind of struggling ever since then. When they come up, they just kind of on the edge.
yeah,
And then in front of them, I'm gonna put Lecce. Also, they're also kind of near towards the bottom themselves. So I'm just gonna have them go back
yeah.
down. In front, so I'm surprised you put Genoa as high as you did. So Genoa, obviously,
I know.
if you know, so Johan Vasquez plays for Genoa. So I hope they stay up because he's gone down. He's been relegated 2 seasons in a row, so that'd be nice for him to stay up because I don't want
Yeah,
another third relegation in a row. But yeah, and Genoa, I feel will do decently well this time around. And then in
yeah,
front of them, I'm gonna put Empoli in 16th.
yeah.
And in front of them, I have Hellas Verona's. So at
Hmm.
15, not really that 15, and then 14, I have Bologna,
Yeah.
and and 13th, I have
You skipped
Salernitana.
14, didn't you?
I think that was 14. So 14
Oh,
Bologna, 15 Hellas, 16 Empoli, 17 Genoa. Yep, that's it.
oh,
There you
okay.
go.
All right.
There you go. 13 Salernitana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got Ochoa in net. He's the GOAT, so he's literally keeping them afloat. So they should stay up.
He's not him anymore. You need to get
He
over it. Dude. His
does
days are
he
gone.
that they are, but he's doing enough to keep them up, and they're happy by it. So, in case you didn't
Not the
know,
World Cup anymore.
but he's putting in a shift. They even
I
opened
know.
the fans opened. I don't know if so. They opened. I think a fan shop called Ochoa's something. I forgot what it was, but it was based off
I saw
Ochoa.
something about it, yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah, I
all
saw
wearing
it.
afros on their head. That's funny. That's funny.
It's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny.
All right. So in 12th, I have Monza. 11 Sassuolo. I feel like mine is safe, but ours are surprisingly close by.
Yeah.
I'm being safe with it because these are all top teams at the
Yeah,
top, the low teams at the bottom.
that's what I was gonna tell you. I was gonna be like, I think yours, like, for once, it's like you're actually going safe route, and like everyone's
feel like
just
I always
have,
do
it's
for the
kinda
most part.
Yeah.
But
Really? I feel like sometimes you get some
but I
really
feel
good-
like not to say that Serie A is boring, but I feel like Serie A most of the time is like the same 8 teams competing for like the top 7, which is kind of boring. But
Yeah.
that's Italian
I mean,
football for you. But yeah,
you don't have to say it. I'll say it. Serie, I was boring.
it is honestly, man. I'll put Torino in front, and then in front of them. So at 9th, and wait, 9th? No, I think 10th. So yeah, 10th Torino, 10th.
Yeah.
Udinese at 9.
Mhm.
Roma at 8.
Wow, that's
I know. I probably
disrespect.
should have put them up higher, but it is what it is. I realized it, and I was like, you
Yeah.
know what, whatever. Roma, I feel like they'll fall off a bit. I know Jose Mourinho's a coach, and he's a great coach and
I
stuff.
know, but they got the GOAT.
I don't like Roma. I don't like their badge. I'm sorry, Roma fans, but I don't like your club crest. I don't like your colors. I'm just not a big fan at all.
Yeah.
Your guys' badge is weird. There's like I don't even know what the animal is. A cow, and there's like kids playing underneath it. Or I
You're not
believe
wrong.
believe it or not, I don't miss Roma's badge being gone from FIFA, so I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like their team is somewhat okay. I mean, I don't know if Roma has the capability to compete with some of these bigger teams in this league, because I just don't feel like they have the funding like the teams above them do to really compete. Like you mentioned, all the signings that they got in, they're decent signings and it's good and all, but I feel like a lot of their players are kind of like older or they're a little like a bit washed in a way. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, decent signings, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. They have two Leeds players on loan. I don't know
Yeah.
if, no, three Leeds players on loan. I don't know if you knew. No, two actually, because Llorente went back, I think. Yeah, they had two on loan,
Yeah.
which is funny. Yeah, but I said they did have a Madrid youth prospect on loan. I don't know if he's gonna play though. Yeah, his name is Julian John Guerrero from Castilla.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's actually gonna play though. But yeah, I have them right there. Yeah, what was he had him? I think fifth or fourth or something like that. Fifth, I think, right?
Who? Roma? Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, fifth. All right, so then in seventh, I'm gonna put Fiorentina.
Nice.
Fiorentina's always kind of in the middle, but
Yeah.
they might lose Amrabat, which is like I think their best player at the moment. So I
Yeah.
don't know how they're gonna cope with that, and I don't know what kind of signings they got coming in. But I mean, it's not.
They didn't have nobody big. They didn't
Nah,
have
not
nobody big.
really. They brought in Arthur, but oh, he's on loan, but he's kind of not really who he
Yeah.
used to be. But yeah, no, and they got Serie for like 800. Yeah, all the players
I
kind
think
of just not it.
I think with Fiorentina, what I was looking at whenever I was looking at their signings, it was kind of more like players that are like a little like too far into their careers now, like at the drop off of their careers. That they kind of really brought in, like nobody like too crazy or like nobody that young. It was kind of just like these not I don't want to say fall off players, but like towards the end of their career
Yeah,
type of players.
I know what you mean. But yeah, not really the players you expect. So a little unfortunate
Yeah.
from Fiorentina. But yeah, so I have them right there at 7. Yeah, see, no, you would think this, and I would swap Fiorentina and Roma, but I already made this, so it's already too late. So it is what it
Yeah.
is. And then in 6, I'm gonna put Lazio.
Nice.
Like you said, they lost Milinkovic Savic. Lazio. I mean, they also lost Luca Romero, who went to AC on a free. That's
Yeah.
another one. He's a prospect, a young prospect. That Kamada, he came in on a free.
Yeah.
But nothing too crazy. They brought in what's his name? Castellanos from New York City FC, which I thought was funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did alright in La Liga. But it's funny. I think that one game against Madrid where he scored 4 really like inflated his stock a little bit, which is funny. But we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. You were saying, Brian?
And it's funny because like I feel like Lazio is literally like always sitting like sixth, seventh, like
They're always at the
literally
edge,
just
yeah.
oh yeah, I know, literally always sixth or seventh.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I get what you mean. Yeah, they don't always compete, but I know what you mean. Okay, in front of them I have Atalanta. So I believe they did lose some players, but for some reason Atalanta always lose players, and they still find a way to compete every single time, regardless of that fact. Because the last couple seasons they've been doing good, and they've lost many players. So they have
yeah,
the Ketelaere that I still think it was done for Milan to get rid of him. I don't know why. They got
yeah,
Scamacca in from West Ham, who had a bad time. They signed Bilal Torre from Almeria, which is for a crazy fee, 30 mil, which is crazy. Kolasinac, but Kolasinac is like whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy. They sold their big player to United, which was that Rasmus Højlund.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that So that's a big play that they lost.
That dude.
Yeah, it's a big play that they lost, but we'll see how they do. They always find a way to make things work either way.
Yeah.
So, fourth, I'm going to put Napoli. I want to put them higher, but I just don't think they'll do well because they just didn't do enough. Napoli's depth has always been pretty bad, and they lost some players. So they lost Kim Min-jae, which is very crucial. That is very crucial. So I know they brought someone in. I don't know who it is, but it's just like Kim Min-jae, some like unknown, low key under the radar player. But so I don't know. So they made the loans permanent for Simeone and Raspadori, and that's great. They brought in Pierluigi Golini on loan, but he's pretty much going to be on the bench. I doubt he's going to be starting goalkeeper. They haven't really done much, honestly. Not any crazy signings at all. I just don't have faith in them, and I don't know. And I don't think Lozano's going to play much, or he's going to leave, I think so.
I think he is going to leave.
Yeah, he doesn't want a contract. He doesn't want a pay cut, so he doesn't want to resign. So I'm just like, well, that's tragic, but whatever.
I wonder where he's gonna go though. I was literally like thinking about
it. He's gonna go to LAFC, man.
That I was just like, I wonder if he goes back to like a lower league or like if he tries to go somewhere big.
He obviously wants money, so I don't even know, man. At this point, but whatever. Might as well just send him back to Mexico if he wants money, but whatever. Alright, so in third, I have AC Milan. I do not like AC Milan. AC Milan is my most disliked team in this league, so if you like AC Milan, I probably won't get along with you. Just kidding, but I don't like AC Milan. Do not like AC Milan. Club. Yeah, but, I don't know, they're signing all these Americans and stuff.
I almost put him first because I got Pulisic.
Yeah, got me fucked up on that one. They got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They got some Chelsea boys up in here.
As I would call him, Loftus-Cheek.
Yep. I mean, for them, he's solid, so I guess
I know. For us, he was horrible.
Yeah. No Okafor from Salzburg, so he's been in that league for a minute, but he's making that jump finally. Yeah, and another Real Madrid prospect on loan, Alex Jimenez. So there's Real Madrid prospects out here everywhere. I don't know if he'll play, but yeah. And then in second, but like I said, I'd like to swap those two, but I just don't have faith in Napoli. But yeah, in second, I have Inter. So
nice.
All those valid points you said. Yeah, so we're on point when it comes to the top two on this one. Inter's squad is very good. They brought in some decent players like Jan Sommer is a great. I don't know if how much of an upgrade he'll be to Onana, but they got some decent money for Onana, and they brought Onana in on a free, so they made money there regardless. Arnautovic is he's a proven Serie A striker, but he's kind of older now, not as good as he used to be. Cuadrado's a big signing on a free. I can't believe Juve let him go. But Serie, they made some decent signings, so I feel, and they still have most of their core from last season, so I feel they'll do decently well at 2. And then obviously the winners I have winning it is Juve. Juventus are gonna come back from the glory days and win the league. I thought they played well during the preseason. I watched that Real Madrid game. Even though that Real Madrid game was very sorry because they were literally sitting back and playing defensively in a friendly, and I'm just like, one thing I just don't like is Serie A ball, which is pretty much sit back and counterattack. I just can't, man. That's pretty much how Serie A is. That's all it ever is, which is frustrating, but
I feel like with Serie A, you have to be a really, really big fan to get into it. Cause I'm not even gonna lie, there's been some games where they'll come on the TV.
Nah,
and
I'll
I
never
just
watch
can't, dude. I know, I can't, man. I remember, I forgot what game it was. It was supposed to be a really big game. I don't know if it was Inter versus AC. And then I was just sitting there and I was just dude, I know these are the two of the bigger teams in Serie A, but I was just this game is so boring. I was just because they play so defensive and you really gotta be a big fan of the Serie A to be watching that, because I couldn't, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, Yeah, it's just not for me. It's not the best league. I'm not the biggest fan of. Oh, it's funny we were just talking about. So I forgot Napoli is supposed to be signing that Gabri Viega from Celta.
Oh
It's about
yeah.
to go down. It's about to go through. So, but I mean, they still need more than that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Juve's looking good in preseason. They got some players in. They got let's see, they got some players in. They got who they get in here. They got Milic back, which is surprising because they're trying to get rid of him. Moise Keane, like all players just said. Um,
Got way Locatelli.
and I guess you want that bum on your squad. I guess
Wait,
he'll sell a couple of shirts, I suppose.
okay.
Yeah,
I feel
nah,
like they lost more than they really got, but like
not
I
wrong,
don't know.
honestly.
I think they're just gonna go on like a revenge tour. It's time for them to rise to the top again. It just feels like it.
Yeah. All right, but yeah. So that is our Serie table. Oh yeah. I don't know what Juve's gonna do because I know they're trying to get rid of Vlahovic at first, but I don't know if they're gonna keep him after all or not.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I heard.
but yeah. So
I
we'll
mean,
see what happens there. But yeah. So now
he'll
off
look good
we
in a
go.
Chelsea shirt, I suppose.
But you guys have Nico Jackson.
Now I was hearing some things. Not gonna lie, that I heard they weren't gonna get him anymore. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Who um Vlahovic?
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope. Nah, after all the money you guys spend, you guys don't spend another freaking 70 mil. But that's the Chelsea way. Just spend and get mid-table.
Yeah.
You're catching strays out here, buddy. All right. Okay.
I know. I just like maybe I'll catch a little less.
All right. Okay, so we got the Bundesliga on this next one. Okay, so
Actual Farmers League.
yes, the actual Farmers League for sure. So I'm gonna have my teams ready. Have my team ready to go, and I don't know. The Bundesliga is kind of iffy when it comes to the mid-table teams. I'm already used to the mid-table teams in like the Serie A, but this league is kind of iffy. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
I'm not
For
gonna
me.
lie, with you know how like with the Serie, oh, you said that was in like one of your bigger leagues. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I not like that. I obviously keep up so much with the Serie A, but like I feel like I keep up a little bit more with the Serie A than the freaking Bundesliga's like mid-table teams. Like I, not gonna lie, these are some of the mid-table teams that I would like struggle with the most because I'm just like I do not watch no Bundesliga besides like obviously the higher teams like the Leipzigs, the Dortmund, the Munich.
Yeah, I
A
think that's
little
how
bit of
everybody
Union
is.
Berlin, yeah, a little bit of Union Berlin and the Leverkusen, but like some of these other teams, I was just like, dang, I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue about where to put them.
I mean, not
So,
wrong.
it
I
is
mean,
what it
you
is.
got your Werder Bremens that used to be good. Your Wolfsburgs,
Yeah,
Bochum, Stuttgarts, Augsburgs, Freiburg,
yeah,
Mainz. I get it. I know what you mean. And there's less
yeah.
teams in this division, so it makes it a little tougher a
Oh
bit in the way. So
yeah,
I don't know about you. I'm not the fan of these 18 team leagues. If anything,
yeah. I'm not.
I
Yeah.
want more teams. I think I look at the Prem and I think of all the big teams that are in like the championship, and I'm just like, you just want all of them to stay up and to go up and no one to go down. But you're just like, that's not how it works. You can't do that. Um,
Yeah.
but that's just how I see it, and obviously you can't have that. But I'm always like, shit, man, make a 22 league team or 24. But obviously that's a lot of games for them. But
Yeah, no, the way I see it
yeah,
with the 18 like league team freaking like format, it's just like I feel like it makes it so much harder for the teams that come up because I'm just like I was like I feel like with 20 there's obviously like there's
you got a
the
little safety
100%
net,
the
kind of.
yeah, there's the 100% like safety net where you know some people are gonna stay up, some people are gonna stay down, but like with 18 it's just like damn, well now you're competing with like the teams that barely scrape it, and like I feel like you already, and then you're eliminating the teams or like the spots of the teams that you would 100% no go down. So like it literally just gets rid of like your, there's a chance, it makes it more like you better make some like huge crazy signings and
Yeah.
like adapt really quick or else you're going straight back down, which makes more for yo-yo clubs and all that, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and then to make it worse, like I think the relegation playoff is horrible because
Oh yeah.
9 times out of 10, the team in the top division is gonna go and win and stay up, and the team
Yeah.
in the second division is gonna stay down, which I think is kind of shit, honestly, for them.
Yeah.
Imagine like you did well this season and you got third. What's your reward? You get to play the shit team in the top division who have more players, better players, more money to sign players.
Yeah.
But you guys can win it. You guys can do it. Like they
Okay, you
probably
got this.
they could, but it's just like what are the odds? You know, it's just it makes it harder for them,
Yeah.
and I think it's not fair. But
Yeah, it is
I
unfair.
I'd rather just all three teams just go down because it just makes it better for them in the long run. You know, but
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of the relegation playoff. In recent years, the only team I can remember that went down from the relegation playoff was like Saint Etienne and like Ligue 1, and like I that's about it. Because every year in the Bundesliga, like the relegation playoff team always stays up for the most part.
Yeah.
At least this past season it was with what's it called with Stuttgart. They beat Hoffenheim, who's a giant that's in the second division that
Yeah.
can't get back up. But yeah, so that is enough of the rant. Let's get into what we got going on here. So, alright, so for me, for 20th, I'm looking at my Serie. I want like Frosinone. I was like, oh, they're so bad, they're gonna go down in two leagues. Alright, so I know like well I'm not putting all three teams that came up to go down. Well, the only two teams came up, but I'm sorry, I was gonna
Yeah.
it's the easy cop out. So I'm gonna put at 20 Darmstadt at 20.
Yeah.
I just think they'll go down, and then in front of them I have FC Heidenheim.
Yeah.
Have them to go. Both those guys go down. We did that with both the farmer leagues, finding the Liga and the Bundesliga for them to go down. Well, I'm seeing yours yet, but that's what I did for mine there
Yeah.
too.
Well, I'm telling you, like, wait, I feel like the logic does make sense though. Where like, if it's less teams, like, it's just harder for them to stay up. That's why, like, yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so then I have them going down, and then in front at the relegation playoff, I put Bochum. You know, I don't want to put Stuttgart there. They're kind of iffy.
Yeah.
They've been towards the bottom for recent years. They used to be a giant, but they kind of struggle now. But I don't put them at the relegation playoff there. And then in front of them, I have Stuttgart, so they survived the relegation playoff.
Nice.
And then in front of them, I have Werder Bremen. I know that they were regulars, but then they went up at one point, but they're up at the moment still. And then in front of them, I have Cologne, who have done well to stay in this league for a while. You know, they've been up here for a while. In front of them, Augsburg, another team that's done well to stay up. After coming up. Augsburg, I have them at 11. And then front at 10th, I have Mainz.
Nice.
Yeah. They haven't been as good as when they had Jurgen Klopp under the helm, but Mainz is still here. Former Champions League club, but now they're mid-table. So at 9th, I have Hoffenheim.
Nice.
Who's have had their spells in the top of the table, but now they're in the mid-table area. And then in front of them, I have Wolfsburg, another team. It's funny, a lot of these teams used to be like up at the top, and now they're like in the mid-table. So now we got other teams up here, you know, which is funny. And then at 8th, I have Freiburg. They're always in the mix for like the Europa League and all that. I have 8th. And 7th, I don't know what you're gonna think about this, Brian. It may be controversial, but I have at 7 Frankfurt.
Wow.
So the reason I have them so low is that they've lost some players. So they lost Jabril, so went to Sevilla. They lost one of their players to Ajax. Ndika went to Rome on a free. And here's the big one. PSG supposedly are in talks to sign Randall Kolo Muani. So if he's gone, he's their goals pretty much there in a nutshell. So They
No, I
haven't
thought.
done much.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought they said that was like basically almost done. Like
It is. I
literally, like
saw this morning
yeah,
that it's like they already agreed terms, and it's just between them to like work
yeah,
out the details.
yeah.
Um,
And I know we just want to say that out there. I know we do these a little bit later, so like we do know some of the extra stuff. But he's been linked for like a little while now. I want to say it's
he's
like the
been
last
linked
couple of days. So
forever.
yeah,
Yeah, he's been linked forever on that
yeah.
one.
So
Yeah, him and Goncalo Ramos been on that transfer list for a while now. But yeah, no, that's just
yeah,
who I think. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they'll get mid table because they're gonna lose a big piece there, you know. But I mean, they did last
yeah,
season. They did well last season when they lost like Kostic and stuff like that. So we'll see how it
yeah.
goes. Um, but yeah, and then in front of them at sixth, I have Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
so again, used to be regulars at the top. Always used to be competing
Yeah,
all the time with Dortmund, but they're not looking like the same powerhouse they used to be at one point.
yeah,
You know, their signings are kind of mad to me. They brought in a couple players, but from like smaller teams, and I think their biggest signing is like Julian Weigl, in my opinion. He's kind of a little bit of washed up player.
yeah.
Yeah, not really much really convinced me there, but yeah, I have them at sixth, and then I
Nice.
have fifth. I have Union Berlin. So I thought they did great last season. I should probably put them lower because I feel like they'll struggle with the UCL ball, which is crazy. They're gonna be playing UCL ball, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, they did good last year. I guess some people were saying that they overachieved, and I believe it. You know, like if you look at their squad, it doesn't really
Yeah,
scream Champions League, but here they are. You know, they added Aronson to their squad, so that kind of sucks, I guess.
yeah.
They brought in Kevin Volland.
They got in Gozens
They
too,
did
I
get
believe.
Gozens in, which is crazy. They have your
Yeah.
guy David Datro Fofana on loan.
No, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they signed Diogo Leite from Porto. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe some decent moves, I suppose. Oh, they brought in Roussillon from Wolfsburg, which I thought was a big signing. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, so that's who I have for them there. And for the top four, we got obviously the top four, these guys.
yeah.
So at four, I'm going to put Dortmund.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they had their chance and they're done now. And I don't like all those reports saying that Jude Bellingham was like toxic in the Dortmund locker room and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
all his teammates just weren't trying to win, man. They're just like, we're in Bayern shadow. We're just gonna stay in Bayern shadow. We're just here to get paid, man. They're just here like, we're just here so we won't get fined.
literally.
Literally, like they got no ambitions in that club at all, and Jude Bellingham was their only one with ambitions of winning things. Now, like, he's at Madrid with that winning DNA, winning mentality. He's fitting in well because everybody wants to win. They're not just complacent with just doing the bare minimum. But yeah, so that's who I have there at four. I just don't think they'll compete with the teams above them. That's why, not because they're
Yeah,
like bad. I mean, they lost Jude, which is a big piece, but I just feel like the other teams are ahead of them like big time. And then in third, I have RB Leipzig.
mm,
Even though they lost a couple players, they still have done well. Like they destroyed Bayern in that Super Cup.
yeah,
And Leipzig always find a way to do well when teams take their players, they always find a way to do well all the time. So, like last year, they lost Konate and Upamecano, and
yeah,
which is their like main center backs, and they brought in Guardiola to replace those guys. Well, I'm sure I don't know if he was already there, but
yeah,
he stepped in and took over for them because those guys were the starting center backs. But they
yeah,
just always find a way to just make things work, and I think they'll do well. So they brought in Luke Keba from Lyon
yeah,
to replace Guardiola. They have Xavi Simons on a loan, which is huge.
yeah,
They signed a player from PSG. I'm not going to pronounce his name because it sounds crazy. They brought in Openda from Lens,
Oh, I
or I
know. I
guess
think that was one of their
Lons.
bigger ones.
It
Yeah.
is 42 mil for Openda from Lons. I think that's how you say it. And they
Yeah.
brought in Fabio Carvalho on loan from Liverpool, which is a big one. They
Yeah.
brought in Baumgartner from Hoffenheim, which is like one of their better players, one of the best players.
Yeah.
So they've done some really good business, you know. They brought in oh no, that was last season. Like Diallo, no, that was last season. But yeah, but they did well. They did very well to reinforce a lot of positions. So Leipzig, they're always just gonna have that money. But
Yeah.
I have them in third, and then in second I have Bayer Leverkusen. So Bayer Leverkusen under, Bayer Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso is just insane. I love me that man, and I can't wait for him to be a Real Madrid coach because he's gonna be the next guy to bring us into the next 5 Champions Leagues or something like that. We'll see what happens,
But they did lose their goat.
they did lose Diaby, they did, but I feel like they'll still do fine. He's a great coach. They'll find ways to replace him. You know, so they brought in some guy from like the Belgian league. Don't know who he is, but if you see how he does, they brought in Granit Xhaka. They brought Jonas Hoffman from Mönchengladbach. They have Alex Grimaldo on a free. Some decent players.
You know what I did notice from the Bundesliga?
Yeah.
That they do a lot of transactions within themselves, like within that league.
They did. I was gonna say right now. I think like Bayern and all them all over there. They learned that the Bayern gets stronger by stealing all the team's best players from all the other teams. So they're like, you know what? Let's get in on that too. Because I noticed that these guys, like up here in the top, like 5 or 6, are just stealing players from these lower teams. Leave them alone, damn it! Leave Hoffenheim alone. Leave Hoffenheim, Mönchengladbach, Wolfsburg. Leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Okay, no, but yeah, I think Bayer Leverkusen do good. Even if they lost Xabi Alonso did so well for them. They were like literally close to the drop last season. And he literally got them all the way up to the Champions League, which is crazy. So, and they almost won the Europa League too. So, that would have been huge if they did. But, yeah, so I have them in second. Obviously, everybody already knew. I should have done it as a meme and just put Bayern in first just to begin. Like, here, I'm just going to get this over with and put them up right here, right now. If I should have done that, but I didn't. But yeah, no, Bayern's going to win the league, of course. Now they got Harry Kane. Come on. Of course they're going to win the league. Why wouldn't they win the league? If they don't win the league, it's the biggest controversy of all time. Like, it's no excuse. There is zero excuse for them to win the league. They brought in Harry Kane for 120 mil. They brought in Kim Min-jae for 50. They brought in one of Dortmund's players on the free once again. That's just always what they'd be doing. This is what I'm talking about, winning mentality. Instead of these, like, every time when it comes down to it, Dortmund players, instead of wanting to stay and compete with Dortmund, not me with Dortmund, with Bayern, they literally like, Bayern want me? Say less. Off we go. Yeah. Like, they'll literally just jump ship and go and they'll win. I'm like, dude, instead of trying to, like, dethrone them, you want to join them, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they got Konrad Laimer from Leipzig. Leipzig were dumb. They should have just sold him because they were trying to buy him last season, but they didn't want to sell to them, and he just came on a free anyway, so Leipzig are freaking idiots. So, yeah. So, I don't know what they're doing there. But, yeah. So, they're still iffy about what they're going to do with the goalkeeper situation, because I know they got rid of Summer, and I don't know who they're going to bring in. They don't want to, like, disrespect Neuer, because he's been there forever, and I think that's great, but they gotta figure something out, like, they can't be, they can't have the same old goalkeeper in net if he's not reliable to them. But they did have some outgoings, they lost Daley Blind, went to Girona on a free, Sabitzer went to Dortmund, Mane went to Saudi, but he already had some beef in the locker room. But this is what shows you, so far in the recent years, the only Liverpool player that's left Liverpool and been good has been Suarez. Every other one literally always does horrible, and they always kind of live to regret it. Like in recent years.
Yeah.
So Mane wanted to leave to Bayern so bad. He had that feud with Sane, and it didn't go well. He ended up him going out the door. Um,
And he was also struggling with injuries there too,
yeah,
wasn't
he was
he? Yeah.
exactly. And then another player was like when Wijnaldum when he left. He literally went
Oh
to
yeah.
PSG for that money, and he didn't play at all, and he was just on the bench.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I don't know, man. That's what you wanted, so yeah,
Yeah, dude's career died quick, but
yeah, but yeah. So that is my list.
nice.
Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and you can start your own list and see how it differs from mine. Let me reset it.
Yeah, well, you're gonna notice something very quickly, like very, very quickly. Just letting you know. See if you can spot it. All right, so 18, I got Darmstadt. Yeah, the team that just came up. And
Yeah.
17th, I got Heidenheim, just because, like, I'm telling you, dude, like, I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again. That logic of the 18th, like, teams, whenever, like, two come up, I feel like it's just so much harder because, like, now you're facing, like, the teams that are barely scraping instead of, like, the obvious teams that are gonna go down. So, like, gives you less of a chance.
Yeah.
16th, I got Bochum. 15th, I got
You know what's
Stuttgart.
funny? Wait,
Uh,
did I put Botcham here?
you're noticing it.
Okay, I did. Okay, I was tripping. I was like, did I? I was like,
Yeah,
I was.
I told you you're gonna notice something very
Okay,
quickly.
that's funny. Oh yeah.
15, I put Stuttgart, or however you say their name.
Yeah, Stuttgart.
Yeah. Or 14th, I got Werder, whatever their name
Werder
is.
Bremen.
Yeah,
Their
Werder Bremen.
V's, their W's or V's.
Yeah. Then 13th, I got Cologne. Cologne.
It's Cologne, like Cologne.
Yeah. Then 12th, I got Augsburg. And this is where I think I want to stop it like right there. I don't know if you've noticed. I want to say every single one of those that I had, you had exactly. So that's
That's
why I was just
funny.
like dying whenever you were saying it out loud. Because I was just like, what are the odds that this is the league that it goes the same?
Yeah.
But it does change. So yeah, but for a second when you were saying it, I was just like in my head, I was just like, dude, if we get the whole league exactly the same, that would be freaking hilarious. So then 11th, I got Hoffenheim. 10th, I got Mainz. Ninth, I got Mönchengladbach. I know you had them a little higher, so like that
I
was one of the teams
did.
that I didn't think. Yeah,
Mönchengladbach are just always like those guys, are just always in the mix. They're like the dark horse of this league every year. So
yeah,
I just highly rate Mönchengladbach. Surprisingly, they always for some reason Dortmund can't beat them. So they always just either Dortmund always either get destroyed or they come or it's like a crazy like 3-3 or 4-4 draw. So, but yeah,
yeah, yeah. So then, eighth, I got Wolfsburg, which is funny because leaving seventh, I also have Frankfurt, and you're all saying you're like, this might be a draw because I have Frankfurt seven. I was just like, I
oh
have them too.
that's
And
funny.
I was literally, like I'm telling you during your thing, I was just dying the whole time because I was just like, dude, it's funny.
That is funny.
So then sixth, I got Freiburg, and then fifth, this one might be a shock to you. I got Leverkusen. And you're gonna know very quickly that like yeah, my thing might be a little boring, just letting you know. Like I'm pretty sure you might be able to predict it from here on out. That's all I'm gonna say, but I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just I know you have a lot of faith in them because they do got Xabi Alonso, but like I don't know. I don't really have that much faith, and I think these upper teams just have like too much money and like they've spent so much where like I don't know. I didn't really see Leverkusen make two big signings, and they did lose Diaby. I know he might not be like their Cristiano Ronaldo, but like he is still very very good. So then fourth, I got Union Berlin. I was actually happy with Union Berlin's transfer window. I think they had one of the better ones in the Bundesliga. I'm not gonna lie. I was like a huge fan of their Gozen signing or their Vollen signing. So that's why they were fourth. I can easily, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't want to jinx them, but I can see them even being like third. So we'll see how it goes for them. But third in this scenario that I had on my paper, I got RB Leipzig, and they did get. I was the second big or team that I was like really happy with their signings was Leipzig, because I'm a huge fan of Openda. They did get the Luke Kebka guy. They also got Sesko. There was another couple that you mentioned, but yeah, they did a lot of movement. However, this is why I can see them going fourth. I genuinely think like their big trio of the Gavardiol and Kunku and Sabozlai were like really big losses. And like I don't know if like some of these signings I was a really big fan of, but like I don't know if they're good enough to keep them like so high up. So that's why like I can see them dropping down. I think you also had them a little low.
Ooh,
So yeah, RB
I
Leipzig.
had them too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. No, no,
Didn't
I
you have
had them. No, no, no,
Leverkusen
no,
too?
no, I'm Trump. No, I'm tripping. I had them
Yeah,
at three. I had them at three. My bad.
yeah, yeah. I was about to say I think you had them like around the same or a little
No,
lower,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
I had them
So
at three. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I can see them going lower to like fourth, but I mean it is what it is. Second, I put him here only because if I was there's always like that one team that you like in the league, and for me it was always Dortmund. Mainly because a lot of Chelsea boys came from there, and just because like a lot of players that I like used to be there. Like I used to be a really big fan of Royce, so I'm sad they didn't win the league last year. But I do think the last year was like their window, and I don't think they'll get it again. But I don't think they'll be that bad to where they drop out of like the top three.
Yeah.
However, we'll see how big of a loss that Jude sell to Madrid was, because like that dude's popping off with Madrid right now. And like, yeah, so we'll just it's starting to look like they're gonna make well, not make, because he was gonna leave regardless, but like it was a very huge loss for them. They also did lose Guerrero, however you say his name. He has so many R's in his name. Yeah,
It's
so
like
they did
it
lose
gets
that guy,
gets Guerrero. It's not even that crazy.
Guerrero. That story has like six R's in his name, like. But anyways, so then they did lose him, but I'm still like a really big fan of their team. I think they're still good and they still compete, but obviously they're not going to be number one because that's Bayern. And I mean, they did get Harry Kane, but like I feel like they're going to win the league even without Harry Kane. I'm not going to lie. So
Oh yeah,
I feel like
definitely.
they're just too much money. It's like they're always going to win that league no matter what it is. Even if like literally last year you thought it was actually Dortmund's chance and they were like not choking, but Bayern Munich just wasn't like performing that much early on, just to come back, and they're just like, you know what? We're like, all right, let's just start trying a little bit now. And they're like, I know these guys got a little bit of faith, but no, it is what it is. Bayern Munich's just always gonna win. So I think that Harry Kane signing, to me, what it was more just like a solidification of where they were gonna freaking end off, because like I think we were all pretty positive they're gonna end first, but like after that Harry Kane, it's just like no, 100% they're ending off first. And if there's no way, or if they lose, Harry Kane will forever be trolled for the rest of his life. Like that dude will just be known as the guy that can't win anything. So it is what it is. But yeah, that was mine, and I think the top can. I'm not gonna lie. I think the top can change this year. But besides Bayern Munich, I think Bayern's like obviously number one. But I can see the two, three, and four switching up a little bit. I can see there being a little bit of movement. But yeah, I just find it very hilarious that like this league was actually like pretty close towards, but to be like obviously besides the top, because I think the top we did have a little bit of movement in ours, but the lower freaking teams were like hilarious because I just didn't expect to come to have like the same teams as me.
Oh
But
yeah, I
yeah,
know what you mean.
yeah, that was mine.
Yeah. Um, I'm a little shocked.
Mm,
I'm a little shocked that you put Union Berlin in fourth because they're playing UCL, and I just don't think they'll be able to compete. Like you said, you like their transfers and all, but I just don't
yeah,
know if they'll be able to repeat it. You know, like hey, I mean, I'm all for it. I like seeing
yeah,
a little mix up in the top four, but I mean, I don't know. I just can't see them. I just can't see them with all that stuff going on being able to compete in the league as well. Because like they dipped a bit last season when I think they were in the I think they were in conference or Europe. I don't know if they were in European football last year actually. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but they're
Well,
gonna
you know what's
do
funny?
for sure. What,
That I forgot they were in that. So it is what it is, though. They're
bruh?
staying there
I
now.
figured I was like, why would you put them so high? Like they're gonna literally be in the Champions League.
Well, you don't know. They can win the league this year. You never know.
I mean, they had good. I think their chances last year, and they kind
Yeah.
of fumbled it a bit. So I don't think that's gonna happen. But
Well, it is what it is. I ain't gonna change it. It'll stay there.
exactly, it's fine. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's why I put them so low because I just couldn't see them being able to compete with that stuff. Usually when teams like this go into the Champions League, they always struggle to compete with their league, so they'll fall off a bit. They'll dip a little bit. You know, like
Yeah.
how do you think Sevilla always manages to be in the Champions League? Because they'll make the Champions League, they'll dip in Form La Liga, they'll drop into the Europa League, win it, and they'll go back to Champions League. That's how they end up going
Yeah.
back
Not
in.
wrong.
Not because of the league table, but because of like them winning the actual cup themselves. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that Union Berlin were. I'm pretty sure that they were in the they were in the Europa League last year. They were in the Europa League, and can't remember how far they made it, but they might have got I think they got knocked out pretty early on by like Union Saint Gilloise. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got knocked out pretty early on, but yeah, like they got knocked out pretty early on last season, and they still managed, and they dipped a bit too, because I remember they were like pushing, they were pushing Bayern for the league for a while, and then they just kind of slowed down a bit. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see how our tables go. But that's it, guys. That is the last of our table, so we can go back to just talking about the events around the world and what goes on. But yeah, so to round this off, we just ended off with a little bit of Chelsea Brian slander, right, Brian? We're just gonna slander your club for a good 20
Yes,
minutes.
we can, and I might join in on that slander.
Yeah, so I've had some stuff written down for a bit because we've been trying to record for a bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. So one thing. So this is what I have here. So Chelsea was supposed to sign Olise, but
Yeah.
it's gone down now because supposedly that Chelsea were being shady about it and they contacted. So I think the way it works is that unless it's publicly posted or put out for information, like let me put it this way, like
Yeah.
supposedly Holland has a release clause after 2024 and all this stuff, and people are saying that it's not true. There's like a lot of mixed reports. They don't want
Yeah.
to reveal that information. So I'm pretty sure the only way to find out if there is a release clause would be to contact City themselves or obviously Holland. But
Yeah.
it's illegal, I believe, to like contact a player like in that way to like find out certain information. I know you can talk to a player to agree terms, but that's like a different story. So I guess they contacted them to ask about the release clause, whatever that it was, and they already had it pretty much set to buy him, and they're like, how do you know about the release clause? So obviously they accused him of
Yeah.
wrongdoing. So I don't know if Olise backed out of it, or because he ended up saying, I don't know if he didn't want the ramifications or what, but he decided to resign at Palace to avoid any conflict. I feel like he did it just to not
I,
deal with it, honestly.
yeah. I wanna say that it was Elise because I think Chelsea was like still very firm on like wanting to
Buying
get the
him,
deal done,
yeah.
and then just like one random day, it just said that Elise himself
Resign,
decided
yeah.
to resign. Yeah, because. And I had also been hearing about like the stuff going on and all that you had just mentioned right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it happens a lot more than we think. But
Oh
like
yeah.
sometimes it just happens, and that's like how obviously you get into your problems with like all this the money slandering and then like all this stuff going on. But I don't know. I was just very shocked because like in my head, I thought it was like literally so close to being done, where like it was just gonna happen, and like it being off was gonna cause some sort of like how do I call like attention to the transfer basically. Like I just felt like it was gonna cause like, oh, like this was so close to being done, and all of a sudden just got called off. Like I wonder why it got called off,
Yeah.
and then like all this was gonna come out, and this was gonna cause problems for Chelsea. But like, I mean, I don't know. I did feel like it flew under the radar, but it is very sketchy upon Chelsea's part. But like I'm saying, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably happened before, and it probably continues to happen. So it could just be something where like we talk about it just now and it like we move on, or it could be something where like it literally comes back later and like we see what goes on. But I did find it very strange. I did think that it was gonna. I thought the signing was gonna happen regardless of like all that going on, just because of how close it was. But I mean, we'll see. I'm just at this rate. Not gonna lie, I'm just glad that like they didn't get into problems with it as of yet.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that the reason why, so Chelsea didn't care, like, nah, we want this through.
Literally,
They didn't care, like, nah, we
literally.
want this through. But I think Olise might have been like, if I go to this club and we do this and we do shadiness towards Crystal Palace, one, I'm obviously saying like screw
Yeah,
Crystal Palace, even though Crystal Palace helped them
yeah,
develop. And then two, if he goes ahead with the signing and he signs for Chelsea, and then you guys, because they're gonna report you guys to like the FA, and so like I
yeah,
don't know how far that was gonna go or what was gonna happen, but I'm pretty sure he didn't want to go into this new team with like consequences. Like imagine you guys like he joins you guys and you guys get like transfer banned or you guys get like
yeah,
or you guys get like a point reduction or something. Like imagine
yeah,
how that would be. So I'm pretty sure he didn't want to be in that situation. He's like, I'll just resign, and I'm sure you guys will probably buy him in January. Like that's probably what happened, unless you guys end up agreeing to terms now. Because even though a player resigns into a contract, he can still be sold. You know, like it doesn't mean that you can't
yeah,
be sold. It just means that now his contract is extended. So obviously, if someone is close to ending their contract, you can obviously get them for cheaper. So a lot of
yeah,
times teams will resign a player and then they'll sell him on, so that way they get some money out of it. Usually it's the player that wants to respect the club that they play for and wants them to like acquire some of the funds. They don't want
yeah.
to do them wrong. Um, but yeah, that's something what had happened, you know. But I don't know. What do you
And
think,
that's
Brian?
how.
What were you saying?
Oh, no, I was gonna say I was like, and literally what I was about to say right now was like, as much as this like went on, right, and like this canceled, I was like, I kid you not, they'll probably resign him in January, or
Yeah,
like they'll
most
get him in
likely.
January, literally, just because like. I don't know what it is about Chelsea, but like right now they're on a spree that they don't give a fuck about money. They're just gonna throw it wherever they can. They don't give a fuck about financial fair play. They're just fucking willing to risk it all, and it is what it is. Like that's their mentality, which is like scaring me a bit. But I mean, what can I do? I ain't know what's it called. Like I'm not the one bringing in the players. I'm not freaking top goalie, so it is what it is. But
Yeah,
it is very concerning to be honest.
but I
And
feel.
I'm
I was gonna say I don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't
no,
feel
you're good.
like they don't do point. One thing that pisses me off about is the Premier League is that so much shady things go down in this league, like from the teams and like in the background,
Yeah,
and they don't penalize them at all. Like the FA is
yeah.
just so trash when it comes to this. Like they literally like I don't know if you know Brian, but the lower leagues like they deduct them like crazy. Like you'll look at the
Oh no,
table.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's how Derby got relegated to League One. You see every league and it's like point like this team has 1 point reduction. Like really like 1 point, like 1 point reduction. This team has 5 point reduction. This team has 3 point reduction. So they sure aren't afraid to give out point reductions, but they're afraid to do it
Yeah.
in the Premier League. And it's just like have a spine. You either do it all fairly or you don't at all. But it's just I just don't like it. They're just scared to do it because the Premier League and they're the big teams and whatnot. Like I don't know if they see it as like how like they can't go up against them because they're gonna lose. Like how when like UEFA went against City for FFP and they were just like nah whatever like we don't want to deal with it. But there's only been one time that there's been a point deduction in the Premier League, Brian. Once.
I, s- I see it as they're scared to lose money because they know if these like bigger teams
Yeah.
drop, like it's gonna lose a lot of money for them, which is like always it's always kind of like a sketch thing anyways because at the end of the day it's always for money,
Yeah.
it's always for sales, and it's always like all this.
Yeah.
So then that's just kind of how like I always see in it because like we literally just saw with Juve whenever they freaking drop like 10 spots, like
Yeah.
that was
And
like
then
one of the
that's how they
craziest.
got relegated before. Remember, like, and they
Yeah.
the Serie literally relegated their biggest club in their league. Like that's the equivalent of them relegating City for all the shit they're doing, you know. But they will never do it. But they did it
Yeah,
back in the day, and that's when they had some of the most iconic players of all time playing for them, and they said, "Nah, we don't care."
yeah, well, just like even then, like literally, just look at the freaking City thing. Like they were getting apparently like financial fair play. I kid you not, that thing died in less than like 3 days of it being gone. Like it blew up the first day, second day a little lower, third day nothing to be heard of. Like it is what it is. Our City's still not gonna get they're not gonna get penalized, and they're just gonna be at the top. And at the end of the day, there was no point deduction, no nothing. So it's just always how it's going to be with these bigger clubs. But I just find it a little more concerning because it is my team, obviously. But what can I do? If it happens, it happens. But like I said, at the same time, it's not like I know you always send me messages. You're like, oh my god, they're gonna get like financial fair play. But at the same time, it's to the point where like I'm not too concerned because I know shit
Well,
doesn't go down like
Brian,
that.
Chelsea have been transfer banned for a whole year at one point. I hope you know that
Yeah.
they have been
Oh, I
transfer
know.
banned. But I don't think that I just say it to mess with you because
Yeah, I know.
the fact that you guys are spending so much money. But I mean, the reason why it hasn't caught up, I suppose, is because you guys did have a lot of outgoings. But if you guys
Yeah.
don't chill out with the spending soon, it might kind of flag them because you guys spent like $1 billion in 3 transfer windows,
Literally.
and
And it
it's based off I don't remember the numbers, but I believe it's based off like what you make the previous season. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, and it's crazy. I think it is like that. But what's it called? It's crazy. Damn, I just lost my train of thought.
But yeah, my bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
It'll come back. Oh no. Yeah. So then I was gonna say, I was like, it's just crazy because they're still willing to spend, and like it's not even you that's just noticed it, right? Like literally everything on Twitter right now. Like, or when's this gonna go under investigation? Financial fair play. Let's go into investigation. They just bought another player for like 200 mil. Investigation. Like all this is just being thrown out, and I'm just like, dude, it's literally a matter of time to like it's just ticking. And then I'm like in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh, like hopefully they're gonna chill right now. Like right now, they're already looking for another fucking striker, and I'm just like, dude, like just chill, like just
Yeah.
play a couple of games, and just like just relax.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I don't know. Like I feel like they're just gonna keep spending till something goes on, because like I don't think Todd Bowley gives a damn. He just throwing money left and right. He thinks that's how you win a league. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Like I don't know, man. Like I don't know what the hell this guy is doing. Like obviously you guys need to like compete, But the reason why you guys are like being flagged here is that City have spent $1 billion in like think in the last 10 years. You guys spent $1 billion in 3 seasons, so. They've been
Literally.
like City has pissed me off because they have gone the route where they're just throwing money at everyone and stuff and like this, So that's the frustrating part. But they're being a little more low key about it, as opposed to like you guys are literally just saying like, all right, we got all this money, we're gonna spend it, we're gonna keep spending, like we don't care, we just want to compete. But I'm just like, you're just pretty much bringing light to yourselves at that point,
No,
So,
and then they're doing it in a sketchy ass way. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna sign Enzo for the next 15 years, and then we're gonna sign Caicedo for the next 15 years. We're gonna sign Mudryk for the next fucking 15
you guys
years.
are literally
like,
flagging them
what?
because they don't even like I think FIFA doesn't even like contracts longer than 5 or 6 years, and you guys are over here trying to sign players for like decade contracts and all that. So they're already trying to pass a ruling saying no contracts past 5 or 6. So you guys are revolutionizing that one.
Yeah, no, that's kind of just like the thing that's concerning me the most, that they're just getting like such long contracts. I'm just like, and they're gonna do it in a way where they just like they're gonna fuck themselves like by themselves. Like, look at the Mudryk signing. Not saying that Mudryk's not gonna turn out, because like we all know there's
that
been
was just
players
an over expensive signing.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna shit on him yet, because like I mean he still hasn't had like the full like actual chance to start for like say like 2 weeks or something like that, or not 2 weeks, like 2 week worth of games, like not two. Damn, how do I say it? Like he hasn't had like a say like a 10.
He hasn't had a good enough sample size.
Yes, there you go. Because I was thinking in my head, but then I was just
there's
like,
a term. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so he hasn't had a good enough sample size to play yet. But then I'm just like this dude is literally just sitting here, and like we have him locked in for like 10 years, and like I was like, if he doesn't turn out, this is gonna be a little awkward here.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so it's just like, I don't know. I think they're doing it in a sketch in a weird way that like it's not really been done like this before.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time till like something brought to light. It's gonna, like, if this Caicedo thing is like gets as big as it is because it's getting pretty big right now. Because
Yeah,
like obviously he just got a red card. I think it's gonna bring enough light to where like shit goes down. You know.
yeah. But I think you guys will be fine.
But
But like I was telling you that there's only been one
yeah,
time where there's been a point deduction, right? You know, you'll never guess what it
yeah.
was about.
What?
It was because it was because they couldn't pay their players. So it was Portsmouth in 2010 that they were docked 9 points after becoming the first active Premier League club to enter financial administration, which means that they don't have money to like pay their players, their staff, all that stuff. So it looks like
Yeah.
the Premier League draw the line when it comes to paying your staff. Like, all right, as long as you guys pay your staff, you guys are fine. Nothing's gonna happen. So that's the only time in history it's happened, and it's because it came down to that. So I don't see it happening anytime soon at all like this. So
Yeah.
who knows? They had that transfer window ban, but that's about it. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know. But yeah, that's just what I have to say about that. That's what we have to say about that, about the Chelsea thing, about the Ole's thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just you just gotta be. You can't be splashing the cash too much like this, you know. And then it's just not the best always. Like when it comes to players.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
but the free.
You were saying?
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, but that was like pretty much it with the Elise thing. But like the one other thing I wanted to talk about today was the thing that you had in there that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. The Reese James joining the medical hospital, like, dude, is getting me. And I'm just gonna go on a little rant here because like
Go for it, man.
it's to the point where I'm getting like frustrated and mad because I'm like, this dude was hurt basically all last year. I'm pretty sure before that year he was hurt like for another good chunk of like the year before.
Yeah.
And then now, like, healthy as he's been, he literally comes out saying like he's finally back. He has no injuries, no like because usually like when you come back, there's always still like a little lingering effect. Basically, like you still feel this here, like say like with a hamstring, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I was out because my whole because that's what he's out with this time, a hamstring. And they're like, oh, I'm out because of my hamstring, right? Like sometimes you come back, oh, there's still a little stiffness, but he's gonna play with the stiffness, or like, oh, there's a little bit of tightness, but he's gonna play with the tightness, like you know. So then, literally at the beginning of this year, gets appointed as the captain of the team. Was very happy, like fucking stoked. In my head, I was just like, dude, finally, like we're going, like he's captain, shows there's a new era. Like Thiago Silva was happy with it. Like I'm pretty sure, if anything, like he was like one of the ones that probably like vouched for it the most. But then I was just like this was his year, you know, and like the fact that literally one fucking game in, one, it was not like a month, it was one singular fucking game, and this dude's already out with like hamstring tightness. And I'm not like, this dude has to be made of glass. We're like, I'm starting to get over the fact where like, dude, if this happens one more year, like I don't care. I am no longer gonna like want this dude back because there's no point. Like there's no point to risk everything again just because this dude cannot fucking stay healthy. And like there was a fucking Mason Mount and him were like trolling each other because like I guess he ended up tweeting something. He was just like, oh, like if you're not a part of the plan, then we need you out. And then fucking Mason Mount tweeted some shit like, oh, if you can't stay healthy, we need you out. And I was like, bruh. But like, oh, that's its own shit. Mason Mount's fucking sucking over there too anyway. So like, don't make a difference. But beyond the point, you had to throw a little bit of slander to Man U.
Damn, catching strays.
Anyways, but like, it's just pissing me off where this dude cannot stay healthy to catch a fucking break. And like, I already know how it's gonna be. Like, so I was telling Alfonso this a while, like literally the other day. I was just like, I don't know what it is with like soccer football, like football, right? Like, I don't know what it is with these like hamstring injuries where like I'll refer to football, like American football, as egg ball. With egg ball, there, because I am a big egg ball fan, like you guys don't know, but anyways. So with egg ball, somebody can get a hamstring injury, right? And they'll play with a little bit of tightness. Like, oh, this player's playing with a little bit of tightness. And like in my head, I'm like, there's no excuse because like these guys are taking physical and like hard contact all game. Like literally, picture a fucking truck hitting you every single play, the whole game, and you have hamstring tightness. But then there's a football player like our football. There's football players that get a hamstring injury, like a little bit of tightness, and they're out for like 3 fucking months. And I'm just like, there's just no, like, I don't know if they're just soft. I don't know if like they're not saying the severity of the injury. Like, I just feel like there needs to be like better communication because every time I hear hamstring and I hear out for 3 months, it gets me so mad. Like, I don't know why. It just does. And then I'm just like, and I feel like there's no excuses because like I don't know. I feel like the technology we have nowadays and everything, like to take care of that, it should not be that long. And I just think it's like a little bit of bullshit, not gonna lie. And like they can say, "Oh, we're playing at the safe route," but like, when is it safe enough, right? Like he was, he didn't play for the whole year. He was getting healthy. He got healthy. All that just to get healthy in the first week. What is safe enough, right? Like you're always if
Yeah.
you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get fucking hurt. There's no
Yeah.
point in like sitting out 10 months and coming back and getting hurt. Like if you're just gonna play, like just play and it is what it is. Because I'm tired of this bullshit where like he sits out, fucking this and that, and then all this. But yeah,
Brian,
that was enough for me.
he's
I don't
load
want to
man.
talk about it.
Yeah, you can tell he's very upset by this, and we had an actual conversation,
Yeah.
so you know he was upset about it a
Yeah.
lot. Um,
Like I was very bummed.
he's load managing, man. So
Dude, like that,
yeah,
it's sad though, because that's how I feel like it is with like football, like a lot of load management. But anyway,
I feel like what's going on is that okay, so in American football, aren't there contracts only guaranteed based off how many games they play, or how does that work?
they have so how that works is they have incentives. So like say, which is by the way a key thing that I think they should include in like soccer, like
They do,
football.
but you just rarely see it.
Yeah, well, like with over here with egg ball, there's like a bunch of incentives like, hey, you play 10 games, you get 2 extra million. Hey, you get this many yards, you get 2 million. Hey, you get this many catches, 2 million. Like stuff like that, and it's not necessarily 2 million every single time, but like it gets you. Like it puts into perspective how much money they get because like they be getting millions for like these incentives, right? Or
Yeah.
like and then there's incentives like this, like oh, if you're out for like a contract, right? You're out for if you're out for half the season, you lose this much money. You're out for this long, or you're out for this. Like say it's an injured prone player, so like I'm not gonna say anybody because like I can't think of the top of
Just
my head. Like
yeah,
I'm blinking.
you don't gotta name anybody. Just be in
Yeah, but
general. Yeah.
like say I'll just say it in Reese James terms. Like say we have Reese James, right? I know this dude's injury prone, so I'm gonna put if he doesn't play half the season, he loses this much money, or like half of this guarantee goes away, or half of this goes away, you know? So then how it is just like the only guarantee you kind of get is like your signing bonus, which is like is also in football. So then there's like your signing bonus, and then there's like your guarantees, but they're doing it in a way where like they're being slick with it, and like with the injury prone players, they're like putting in these like incentives and clauses where like if you don't play for this many games, you're just not gonna get this much money, and like it helps the team out because like it is what's it can go both ways. It can be fucked up to the player, but like it's also asked to the team if they're like paying you just to fucking sit there for 2 years of like just being injured, you know? So like you can definitely see it both ways. But anyways, as I'm trying to say is like they have these like things set up in their contract and like with incentives and stuff where like if you play you get more money like to avoid stuff like this like injuries, right?
Yeah.
So like if I have a hamstring, I have 2 more games to play, but in these 2 games if I catch 10 more freaking passes, then I get this much more money. So obviously the player's like, all right, let me heal up like as much as I can, I'll go play, and it is what it is. But then, like, if you don't have these stuff in there, you have like the Reece James where like, oh, we can just sit out for as long as we want until we get healthy, and it is what it is. Like, I don't know.
So
It's just very frustrating.
yeah, I think that's the problem with the sport. And here's the thing: so they do have contracts like that, cause like obviously if you every time like you play like obviously I know it's a game, but like FIFA like when you sign someone it's like give them a bonus, right? Like you scored this many games,
Yeah,
you scored this many goals, you get this bonus. You kept this many clean sheets, you get this bonus. You played this many games, you get this bonus. But nowadays, I don't feel like they have bonuses like that anymore. Now they just include that into the salary, so they don't
yeah,
really go for bonuses. So like, let's say you have a striker, right?
yeah,
It's funny because I literally saw a quote the other day, by by Harry Redknapp. I don't know if you know who that is, Brian, but Harry
yeah,
Redknapp. He's a prem manager, and Basically, I saw a story the other day that said that somebody wanted um they wanted a goal scoring clause in their contract, right? And he's a striker, and he
Yeah.
goes, "You want like what? Like what do you mean you want to you want a goal scoring bonus? Like you're a striker, that's your job. Like so you want a
Yeah.
bonus for doing your job." Which is funny, so because
Yeah.
like for that reason, like I just don't think they really are gonna do those types of contracts, like how you're saying, like that they do it in like American football, and
Yeah.
American football, I think, is the only professional sport that has like non-guaranteed contract. Well, the NBA does, but they do it for like the smallest players, like the
Oh
players
yeah.
that they want to test out and see if they're worth paying. But no other sport does that. I feel like American football is the only one that does that, and that might be what's good there. So here's the thing: it turns out, I guess last year, I believe, if I'm not wrong, that they said that Courtois was playing through like an ACL tear or like a
Yeah.
ligament tear through the whole champions and through the whole season. They're saying that he
Yeah.
played with the crazy injury for the whole year because he didn't want to go out, right? And it
Yeah.
probably over the summer, I think he had a rehab. I don't know if he had surgery, but look what happened now. Now he tore his ACL. So it
Yeah.
was the trauma that was from it. But basically, he could have been out last season, and Lunin could have stepped in, but he wanted to play through it. He wanted to play through it. So
Yeah.
that's another thing to it. So like it comes down to playing through it, and then it comes down to like, does the player want to risk injury, like long term injury, and then being out? You know, like what does he want to
Yeah.
do? And because like if you get injured long term, then you won't be able to come back, and you want to guarantee yourself. And the way he sees it as, well, I'm on the books for this many odd years, so I'm getting paid regardless. I'd rather not take a chance and risk my livelihood, because if he comes back too soon or if he plays through it, he might injure himself long term, and then he's out for a while, and then his career's over. So I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
times that these like these European football players, that they don't like to take risks. They don't like to take chances unless it's for
Yeah.
something. Every now and then you hear a story like, oh, like this player was playing with a tear, this player was playing with the hamstring, or this, like, I feel like it just comes down to the player themselves, whether they want to push themselves or they want to keep going for something. I mean, I would have liked to see if you guys were in the Champions League, if Reece James would have played through this, or if he would have tried to come back sooner. We'll see as the season progresses. We'll see how fast he comes back or how quick he is to like rush himself out. Like we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes. But I think it comes down to ambition and like want to like get better. Like one of the things I've seen is that one of Real Madrid's prospects that they signed is his name is Arda Güler, and he's a very young player. He's like ambitious. Like he wants to succeed so bad that he's trying to come back as soon as possible from this injury that he suffered. Like he even wanted to like keep going, like they obviously wanted to bring him back as soon as possible, but since he's a young prospect,
Yeah.
Real Madrid don't want to rush him back because they don't want to have long-term injury effects on them. But I feel like a lot of the times it comes down to the players, that they don't want to risk their paycheck, they don't want to risk long-term injury, and they just want to just chill back because their contract is guaranteed regardless of whether you could be out. You could sign a 5-year, let's say. All right, let's look at Ronaldo, right? Or no, Neymar just signed like a 300 mil a year contract, right?
Yeah.
You know how he's always injured around like February for his sister's birthday or whatever. So let's say that he's out for all 3 years, right? He's gonna get paid 900 mil for being on the Bucks, whether he plays a minute or not. He'll be like, well, it's not my fault. I got injured. I got hurt. Neymar's very injury prone, so like that's nothing crazy. But I'm just saying that like they have to pay it because it's in the contract. They don't. Everything's guaranteed. Like everything's set in stone. The only time that the money gets left behind is when the player decides to leave it behind. Like, I want to leave this club. Like, terminate my contract and like don't pay the rest of my contract out. Like a big thing that you're seeing nowadays is like a lot of United players that don't want to leave because they want to collect their paycheck because they know that if they leave, that they obviously forfeit that money they were gonna receive and stuff like that. So a lot of times it's like that. We're like, nah, I want my money. It's sad that it's come down to money. I get that money's important, great, but it's gone away from like passion and desire to compete for titles and wanting to make a name for yourself. So like, hey, yo, like, I just want my money, man. Like, you owe me this much money here. Like, you see it. It's starting to become more of a thing, like, I don't want to give Bale a pass, but I'm also not going to say that, that he's at fault, but, like, he did that, like, he started doing that where he didn't want to leave. He wanted to run out his contract. I'm like, fair play. And then Mariano did that last year. He wanted to run out his contract, you know. And then it started to become a trend. And then now you see the season like Harry Maguire didn't want to join West Ham because he was gonna be on 100K a week, and he didn't want that, and he was gonna lose that money he was gonna have. And then I guess I'm hearing that Wan-Bissaka doesn't want to leave because then he's gonna forfeit that money. You just see it when it comes down to where these players have gone from like, oh, like I know that they need money to pay their bills and this or that, and that they need the money for their families and this, but like, it's not like my guy's going from like 150K a week to like minimum wage. I mean, 100K a week is still pretty good to play. It just comes down to like nowadays you're seeing players not care about playing versus money. Like before, you'll see a player go from a big team, like let's say, all right, so let's say Chelsea. Like, a good example is you guys had Ruben Loftus-Cheek on your guys' squad. He would rarely start. He would almost never play at all. He was earning good wages at Chelsea. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He just joined AC Milan. I'm pretty sure his contract at AC Milan is not big wages. So he chose the route to play versus money. So those are your options all the time. Like, do you want to play games or do you want money? Do you don't mind sitting on the bench and collecting a check and just training, or like, do you want to actually play games? Because at the end of the day, it's a job, but also, why wouldn't you want to play? Like, why wouldn't you want to actually play games? That's what it comes down to. Like, do they actually want to play? That's like when you see that players like, oh yeah, I want to play. Like, I want minutes. I want this. I want that. It just comes down to that. I feel like just the mentality of nowadays footballers is kind of gone in the opposite direction, sadly, from what it used to be, which was like obviously competing for championships and trophies and all that. But yeah, that's my thought. But what do you think, Brian?
Yeah, no, so I was just gonna say, I was like, I forget that, like, there is, like, no, like, what kind of, like, with, football, everything is kind of just, like, guaranteed, and, like, with egg ball, there is, like, no, or there is some contracts that are, like, non-guaranteed, so, like, it pushes players to play because, like, like I said,
You want to earn their contract,
yeah, so, like, you kind of have no choice, but in a way it works sometimes, because, like, I don't know, it kind of just gets rid of like that how do I say it, like just that area where just like players just don't want to play because they know their money's there. So right, and that's kind of what they're pushing for now, by the way, so they're just seeing with quarterbacks. But anyways, beyond the point, hopefully it doesn't happen. Yeah, but I was like, beyond the point, what's it called, the thing that I think is just like really bugging me with the Reece James thing is that, like, so he was, before this season, he was saying how he had depression, like how last season he was starting to get depression, right? Because he wasn't playing. Not saying depression is no joke, because obviously
mental
depression
health
is
very
depression.
important. Yes,
Mental health is very important. You should always take care of your mental health. But like, he was saying how he was getting depression because he wouldn't play, right? In my head, this is just me, by the way, like I'm saying, nothing against mental health. Like, mental health, please take care of it. Please take care of your mental health. Like, get help if you need it. But he was saying how, like, he's like, oh, like, not playing was giving me like depression and this and that. But I was just like, if, like, not saying that he was lying, but I'm just saying, like, if that's the thing, like, wouldn't you want to at least try to keep playing? Like, you're just like, you just did all this and that, and like, now there's this injury comes up, but like, I just feel like in my mentality is just like, it's something that would push you to want to keep trying to play, or like want to fight through it, because you don't want to deal with that again. But like, at the same time, like, it's the mentality type of thing where, like, at the same time, like, in his head, he's just like, I just got hurt again, and if I keep playing, then maybe it's just, maybe I'll tear something like in my knee, or like that'll cause me to tear something in my knee. Maybe like I'll like completely rip off my hamstring, like, stuff like that. But I do think it's more of a mentality thing, and I think it's like, in my head, it's just bugging me because, like, obviously he's my player, and like, he's our captain for Chelsea. So, and like, he was supposed to be that big this year, but I don't know. It's really frustrating because I feel like with football, it's kind of like a lot of these players are just taking the easy way out nowadays, and like you have it, just take it, and it is what it is, and like, nobody's really questioning it. But yeah, I don't know. It's starting to bug me a little bit, but yeah. I feel like I said what I wanted to say. Yeah, like, it's just, yeah.
I don't blame you, Brian. No, like, I get it's frustrating, like, injuries, this or that. Like, I get it. Like, a lot of players can be injury prone. Like, they can like they can be injured every other year. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like I get it. It's just I know what you mean. You want some type of ambition. You want some type of drive or push for them to come back. You know, like, and I get that you
Yeah.
don't see it. It's just I don't know. It's just kind of sad sometimes that you're seeing it more and more nowadays with like these
Yeah.
newer generation of players that they obviously take care of themselves. Obviously, why would you want to injure yourself long term and risk yourself not being able to come back? But obviously, you want to. I would always assume that your main focus is always to like hurry back to come back to be able to play. You know, so it's just
Yeah.
that's the way I would see it. You want to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. But yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We just went on that little rant. Nothing too crazy. So in upcoming episodes, we'll talk about more stuff that's coming on, like everything going around. You know, like whatever we have our thoughts on different things. But yeah. So,
De-
what you were saying?
definitely. I was like, definitely in the next episode. I don't want to give a little teaser, but I do want to jump in with that Neymar contract. That thing
Yeah, we
is
might something
crazy.
to do with Neymar on his massive contract over there in Saudi. So
Yeah, like I do want to touch on base on that at least, like in a future episode,
yeah,
really
definitely.
soon. But
But
it's
yeah,
crazy.
thank you guys very much for tuning in. And if you got to this point, we really appreciate it for you guys tuning in, and listening. Give us your thoughts. I should have said that's probably at the end of every single table we do. But what are your thoughts on our tables? Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree? Why do you agree? This or that. I mean, nobody knows what's gonna happen each year. Like, nobody predicted that Chelsea was gonna get 12th last year. No one
Yeah,
predicted that RC Lens was gonna be in the Champions League. No one predicted Union Berlin to be in the Champions League. There's just so much stuff that you just don't ever anticipate or predict that's gonna happen. You just honestly never know or have any clue at all whatsoever. Nobody knew that the Saudi Arabia stuff was gonna go down or how it was gonna
yeah,
impact players. So we have no clue as of now what will happen in the long term or the long run. Like, are players gonna want to go to Saudi now, or is no one gonna want to go to Europe anymore? Is everybody just
yeah,
gonna chase the money? Is anyone gonna even care about being competitive? Does going to Saudi mean that you don't care about competing? You just care about money, like that. You don't care about
yeah,
the sport, or you just see it as a job. Do you not see it as a passion or as a love for the sport as a general? But yeah, it's just it comes down to it. Like, we'll see as time goes on, and you never know. There might be some shock. You know, look at Brighton, right? They're 2 for 2 in the Premier League.
yeah,
What if they're the next Leicester? What if they win the league? You
yeah,
just
yeah,
never know. That's what I love about this sport. It's so unexpected. You just never know what'll happen. Big teams go down, small teams rise, and then the cycle recycles every now and then. There's a reason, Brian, why there's a lot of big clubs in lower divisions because they weren't able to maintain their glory and they fallen off. And now other small teams have capitalized on it, and there they are where they are today. But yeah,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
but I did want to say something. If you do agree or disagree, or give us a reason why that's your take. Like, don't just be like, "Oh, I disagree." Like, that sucks. Tell us why, or
give us
like,
good
how.
info. Don't
Yeah,
just be
give us good
like, you
info.
guys are
Cause
washed, you guys trash,
yeah, cause like you
typical
can tell us that.
Americans.
Yeah, because you can tell us our table's bad, but like we want to know why it's bad. What caused it to be bad? What, in your perspective, ruined it? Or like that way it just gives us like a better understanding. Because like it's so vague to just be like, oh, I disagree. That's not
Yeah,
or
that's
like you
that's
say
not a
that's why
good
it's like
excuse, man.
yeah,
It's not like nah, like I just no.
yeah. So yeah, so just give us a little explanation as to why. Give us your why for that agree or disagree, and yeah, and we'll take it into account.
But yeah, pretty much it. That's it for us today. Thank you very much once again. Be sure to make sure to give us a 5-star rating on anywhere that there's ratings available, and you can get us wherever you get your podcasts. But yeah, so for these, I've decided to make us a YouTube channel. I haven't told Brian about this, but I'm gonna make us a channel. So I'll probably put the link in the comment section for all these podcasts. So wherever you listen to it, there'll be a link for it. So you can click on it for our page for our podcast. That way you can get all our tables and any content that we do on there, like just primarily on there alone. So whenever it
Yeah,
comes out, we'll let you guys know. But as of now, I'll leave a link when it goes up. So, but yeah, thank you guys. But yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in. And before anything you want to say, Brian, before we head out?
I was just gonna say I appreciate you guys like listening to these, even if you're not a big like Serie A fan or Bundesliga fan or like say a La Liga fan, we appreciate you still tuning in and just listening to our takes. Even like today when we know we obviously didn't know like too much of these teams and we're like not that much into it, but like we're always gonna try to add stuff in there to you just for those who do like these leagues because we know it's not fair to just always talk about the Prem or La Liga. So yeah, but we're very appreciative of you guys just always tuning in, and we just hope you keep tuning in. We do got some stuff planned, and we're gonna start like thinking of some stuff going on because it's actually getting very crazy in the football world. So yeah,
Exactly.
just excited to start talking about the other stuff because like the leagues, we did need to get those out of the way because it was pushing soon, but now we get to talk about the other stuff. So
Exactly.
excited.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think we're talking about the table. So last thing. So everybody, it's really easy to do top four and bottom three for any league, but I feel like doing the whole table adds more excitement to it and it adds more
Yeah,
to the drama at the end of the year. You know, like I don't think anybody had a Union Berlin making top four or Lens. So going back to or
yeah,
Chelsea, so going back to those at the end of the year and be like, oh man, I really put them here and they ended here. It makes it more exciting as like, oh, we only did top four and bottom three. You know, like there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's just more fun doing the whole table because
yeah,
not everybody does the whole table. Not everybody cares about every league. But like we even did lower leagues, and no people don't really look at that. Like I love lower
yeah.
leagues. I think promotion relegation is so exciting. But yeah, enough talk. We gotta go because we're cutting it close a bit on timing here. Brian's got somewhere to be, but we're gonna end it
Yeah.
here. So thank you guys once again, and we will hope to see you guys in the next one.
Catch you guys in the next one.